While these animals may look cute and cuddly from the outside, kind of like cartoon teddy bears, they have some serious issues. While you aren't 100% guaranteed to be mauled by a koala bear on your next visit to Australia, you should still be sure to keep your distance. One of the main reasons is that koalas are actually plagued by a very infectious strain of chlamydia. According to a professor of infectious diseases from the Burnet Institution in Melbourne, the Australian population of koala bears is currently facing an epidemic of chlamydia, about half the population, and they can pass it on to humans by urinating directly onto you. Imagine getting chlamydia from a koala bear. How embarrassing would that be? Also, if that wasn't disturbing enough, keep in mind that koala bears can be more aggressive than crocodiles. Koalas can cause grievous wounds by cutting you apart with their vicious claws. If you were to try and steal either a crocodile or a koala bear, you would probably face less trouble with the crocodile. It wouldn't be able to deceive you with its cute appearance. The Bengal Sloris is the largest of all the slow loris animals. This nocturnal creature has a round head, small ears, and eyes that are simply adorable. How could you ever say no to such a sweet-looking creature? Slow lorises live in the trees, they eat mainly fruit and insects, and they are extremely fuzzy. The slow loris is also one of the least studied primates in Asia. I know it kind of looks like a lemur, but it's actually not. And while you may want to cuddle up with this incredibly cute tree dweller, you may want to think again. Cute, but deadly. The Bengal slow loris is just as dangerous as every other species of slow loris. This animal produces a volatile and toxic substance from glands on the insides of its elbows. The slow loris can then lick the substance off the inside of its elbows, which then turns its saliva poisonous. When it bites with poison in its mouth, the slow loris can kill with the toxicity. This is definitely not the kind of animal you want hanging around the house. Nobody wants a pet with poison elbows. Out of all the most dangerous crustaceans in the world, the Japanese spider crab is without a doubt the largest of them all. The Japanese spider crab is the biggest crab in the world, able to grow over 12 feet in length. The reason it's called a spider crab is because it really looks like a massive underwater spider with its extremely long legs scuttling across the ocean floor. These crabs can also be pretty heavy, weighing up to 44 pounds. And as the biggest crustaceans in the world, the Japanese spider crab doesn't have a lot of predators to worry about. They eat anything they can get their claws on, including the bodies of dead creatures that have floated down to the ocean floor. There are even legends about Japanese spider crabs dragging sailors overboard and eating them alive. This is probably unlikely, but still, the average Japanese spider crab can live for over 100 years. That's a pretty long time. Their legs are also super muscular, and they can move at lightning fast speeds. With their strong claws, they could easily rip apart another animal or even a human if it came down to it. The good news is that since they live deep in the ocean, you're probably not going to have to fight one anytime soon. They're also not that aggressive, unless of course you're infringing on their territory. Undoubtedly, one of the scariest animals on the planet is the house cat. Almost everyone has had a cat sometime in their life, and while these felines may seem cute and cuddly, they are actually secret killers. Never forget that cats are carnivorous savages, even if they do live in your house and poop in a box of sand. Take for example camera footage from 2019 that shows a cat trying to murder its owner in the middle of the night. It all started when a user on Twitter was complaining about having trouble sleeping. The guy then set up a hidden camera to watch himself at night to see what was going on. As it turned out, his cat was sneaking onto his face in the middle of the night and trying to suffocate him. It's a pretty horrific video to watch. At first, it appears like the cat is merely giving its owner a nice face hug, but then it looks a little bit more ominous. But who knows how many other house cats are secretly trying to murder their owners in the dead of night. Actually, the most dangerous thing about house cats is not them, but a dangerous organism called Toxoplasma gondii. T. gondii can infect just about anybody with an illness called toxoplasmosis. This goes straight into the brain and can cause severe flu-like symptoms. Most people have it though, and they never exhibit any symptoms. Infected rodents in studies had slower reaction times and displayed no aversion to the scent of cat urine, which is something instinctual rodents have in their brain. What's perhaps even more interesting is that they have found it in humans. It was discovered that people with toxoplasmosis had slower reaction times and actually enjoyed the smell of cat urine. So, if you love cats, you might be safe, but cat urine is a huge warning sign. Okay, come on. Fluffy kittens and sweet little puppies are definitely some of the cutest animals on the planet. But have you ever seen a little otter holding hands or rubbing cheeks? They slide down hills, wrestle each other, and do all sorts of cute otter things. They are simply adorable. It's easy to see why this animal wins our hearts with its good looks and playfulness. But you might not want to try cuddling with this animal. Don't let the cute memes of otters circulating the internet fool you. They are wild and dangerous animals and can easily inflict horrors on each other and other wildlife. Otters can be found on almost every continent, and there are 13 different species. And these mean facts you're about to get hit with apply to them all. Otters need to eat about a quarter of their body weight daily in order to stay warm, and they will do just about anything to get food, including threatening their own family. Male otters have been observed stealing the babies of the females and holding them underwater till the female brings them food. They will also violently steal food from each other. There are multiple documented cases of otters lashing out aggressively. In New York at the Bronx Zoo, a monkey sat next to a pond filled with otters. There is a video of the innocent little monkey falling into the water and was then getting attacked by the otters. Another incident at a zoo in England reported a tamarin escaped its enclosure, fell into the otters exhibit, and then was eaten by not-so-innocent otters. The giant otter of the Amazon has an average weight of 75 pounds and can be more than 6 feet. They have a terrible reputation of capsizing canoes. Otters are the perfect example of cute, but dangerous. The Remipede is one of the least known crustaceans in the ocean. It's also the only venomous crustacean known to man. Have you ever heard of it before? According to Mental Floss, there are at least 70,000 species of crustacean, including many different crabs, lobsters, and shrimp. This tiny creature looks a lot like a little white centipede, with a very long body and all kinds of legs. Where does this dangerous crustacean live? In underground caves in Mexico. They were first described by scientists in the 1980s after being discovered in the vast cave networks beneath Mexico. But it was only recently that researchers found out they were venomous. According to biologists from the Natural History Museum in London, remipedes have fangs on either side of their head which are connected to a reservoir of fluid. Stored inside these reservoirs is a poison created by a special venom gland deep within the crustacean's body. How poisonous could it really be? Well, it's very similar to the venom from a viper. It produces a special neurotoxin that is able to paralyze its victim. The remipede employs a mixture of venoms that are highly dangerous. But because of their isolated cave location, there have never been any reported deaths. Hey, real quick, if this is your first time checking out the channel, welcome! Give this video a like and hit that subscribe button for more videos like these. Everyone knows that raccoons can be pretty feisty, but did you know that raccoons can be fatally dangerous? Not only are raccoons thieves and garbage eaters, but they are also terrifying monsters. If you need some solid evidence of how dangerous raccoons truly are, take a look at this recent report from the Daily Mail, which recounts the horrifying incident where a woman was mercilessly attacked and savaged by a pack of raccoons. These ridiculously adorable trash pandas knocked her to the ground and literally bit chunks out of her while she had just been minding her own business, walking her dog. This woman actually had horrible injuries. She had deep cuts all over her legs and arms that required staples, injections, and she also needed some treatment against rabies. But it gets even scarier. These raccoons didn't just come out of nowhere. The unfortunate victim claims that they had chased her for at least 75 feet before knocking her to the ground and then trying to eat her. Luckily, her dog managed to bark and scare them off and save the owner's life. Basically, never trust a raccoon. There are mad packs of them wandering the streets at night. Prepare to be shocked. Many of us see cows on a regular basis. If you live in the country, you'll probably see cows all the time on your daily commute. And while cows are cute and innocent, often lounging around all day in the field and not bothering anybody, this is actually a ruse. Believe it or not, cows can kill. Killer cows! Yes, I know! Here's the story. The best example of this is a recent story reported by the BBC in which a family was attacked by cows while walking in the United Kingdom. A man named Mark had been walking with his 82-year-old mother and some friends when they were ambushed by cows in Cumbria. So far as the story goes, the group saw the cows drinking from a nearby stream and the walkers had to cross over the stream. They really didn't think anything of it. They started walking, then the cows turned around and attacked their dog. It became an absolute frenzy. The dog was trampled to death by the cows, and then the cows went after the man's senior mother, knocking her to the ground. She ended up suffering a broken arm from the attack. At the end, everyone got away alive except for the dog, as luckily some of the walkers fought back against the cows with their walking sticks. Mark said he supported farmers, but believes there should be a law ordering them to put up signs for nursing cattle. The mantis shrimp has the strongest punch of any animal. This might be a hard thing to believe, considering the mantis shrimp is an extremely small crustacean, but it's absolutely true. Pow pow! The mantis shrimp punches with the outstanding force of a .22 caliber bullet. This is a scary amount of force exhibited by such a small animal, but it doesn't have anything to do with the mantis shrimp's muscles. Instead, it has spring-loaded arms. Mother Nature really did a remarkable job putting this creature together. With its spring-loaded arm, the mantis shrimp can punch at an amazing 75 feet per second. According to scientists from the Nanyang Technological University in Singapore, the shrimp's arm kind of works like a bow and arrow. The muscles bend backwards like an archer's bow being readied for shooting, and when the muscle releases, all that energy shoots forward, concentrated at the tip of the mantis shrimp's club, which in this analogy is the arrow. But can the mantis shrimp punch through a human? The answer is absolutely not. They only use this amazing ability to break the shells of their prey so that they can eat. You're not going to be punched unconscious by a mantis shrimp anytime soon. It's okay. Dolphins are perhaps the most nefarious creatures in the ocean. This is because they look so innocent. Dolphins always appear to be smiling, and so people think that they're always happy and eager to play. But it turns out dolphins can actually be aggressive. Everything went wrong when a 10-year-old British girl was attacked by a captive dolphin during what was supposed to be a harmless interactive experience. Swimming with the dolphins is supposed to be fun. You may have even done it yourself. Luckily, the girl survived, though she was left with cuts, bruises, bite marks, and probably a bit of PTSD. This happened at Dolphin Discovery in Cancun, Mexico, in a sea pen, which is a special closed-off area of the ocean where the dolphins are kept. According to World Animal Protection, the girl was dragged underwater suddenly by one of the dolphins while the trainers, the girl's mother, and other tourists looked on in horror. The girl was luckily saved, but it could have been much worse. And apparently, attacks are far more common than you think. In 2018, a sexually frustrated dolphin named Zafar caused a French beach to close out of concern for people's safety. Zafar had a reputation for being friendly before he started making unwelcome advances towards visitors, including pushing a woman into the air with his nose and refusing to let another swimmer return to shore. Another wild dolphin with a friendly reputation, named Dusty, viciously attacked numerous swimmers off the Irish coast over a decade-long span, attempting to drown one woman and putting another in the hospital with multiple fractures and a damaged lung, resulting in ongoing physical therapy, as well as severe anxiety and PTSD. Let's take a look at prairie dogs, which aren't actually canines or related to dogs at all. These tiny little animals are pretty adorable looking, and they are absolutely no harm to humans, but they are indeed dangerous to other animals. In fact, a new study has shown that the white-tailed prairie dog, which live mostly in Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming, are killing machines. These disgruntled herbivores have been caught red-handed murdering squirrels for apparently no reason. The prairie dogs have been caught biting squirrels, shaking them to death, and then just leaving their dead bodies in the dirt. They seem to be doing this unprovoked, for no reason, but probably with a lot of malice. A researcher and his team at the Arapahoe National Wildlife Refuge have so far documented prairie dogs killing over 100 ground squirrels in the last 5 years. Not only that, but there are 62 suspected killings that prairie dogs were likely involved in. In the time studying this phenomenon, the researchers recorded at least 43 adult prairie dogs, both male and female, participating in the act of murder. In one particularly violent event, researchers witnessed a single prairie dog dig 7 squirrel babies out of different dens and killed them unprovoked for no reason. If that's not a dangerous animal, I don't know what is. If you believe in reincarnation, you might want to skip this next story because it's horrifying. According to the Daily Mail, a family recently discovered the face of Osama bin Laden imprinted on the underside of a crab. This happened in Washington state, when the family found the man's face staring straight back at them from the belly of this freakish crustacean while taking a crabbing trip near Everett. They even managed to capture the incident on video, and as you can tell by the images, there is no denying who this crab looked like. The family found the crab while they were unloading a pot of crustaceans into their boat, but at the time nobody noticed. The crab was female and illegal to keep, so the family chucked it back into the ocean. It wasn't until they checked their footage later and they realised that the face of the world's most notorious radical had been stained onto its bottom. But what could this mean? Is this crab plotting some kind of mass attack from the cover of the ocean? Should we be worried? If you've seen Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, you know what I mean. You just never know what they're thinking. Crows can recognise the faces of people who have wronged them. Magpies are some of the most notorious pests in all of Australia. And of course, ostriches and emus can literally peck your eyes out. Birds are dangerous. Even birds that don't appear to be overtly dangerous are a hazard to human society. And according to a recent report from the BBC, bird attacks in the United States are on the rise. One example comes from Colorado, when Mary Hyman was walking her dog around a lake in downtown Denver, only to be attacked by a bird. Before she had any idea what was going on, the bird had slammed into the back of her head, flapped its wings frantically in her face, then retreated back into the bush. It was a kamikaze attack, and according to bird experts all over the US, it's only going to get worse as humans move closer and closer to bird territory. Let this be a warning. Those innocent birds you see sitting in the trees, they are more dangerous than you previously thought. Pandas are a lot of people's favourite animals. It's pretty easy to see why. With their distinctive white coat and black around their eyes, legs and shoulders, they're extremely cute. They have a reputation of being harmless with a charming habit of sneezing. They spend most of their time sleeping or eating bamboo. While it's undeniable that pandas are striking animals, the reality is those teeth aren't just for crunching bamboo. They will use them for protection against predators like snow leopards and jackals. They're pretty docile around humans, but if provoked, they can become extremely aggressive, and it would undoubtedly be a mistake to get too close to one in the wild. Pandas are used to being adored by humans when in captivity, but they can be extremely dangerous. In 2006, a drunk and not-so-bright 28-year-old man named Zhang climbed into the panda enclosure at Beijing Zoo to pet the bear. He wanted to show off to his companion, but all he had to show for his brandish display of stupidity was a right calf savaged beyond recognition. Oh, and the panda's bite force is among the highest. The pistol shrimp is a biological anomaly. It's one of the only crustaceans on Earth that has a legitimate superpower. The pistol shrimp is able to generate a water jet to annihilate anything threatening to eat it. When it does this, it becomes one of the loudest creatures on the planet. But how does this power work? It has a lot to do with one of the pistol shrimp's claws, which has a modified plunger that fits into a modified socket. The shrimp is able to close its pincer with such ferocity that it causes a jet of water to be squeezed through a special groove, creating a powerful blast of liquid that can destroy any potential predator. But what's even more fascinating is that when it snaps its claws shut, the popping noise generated is one of the loudest natural sounds on the planet. Prepare to be even more amazed. The pistol shrimp closes its claw so quickly that it creates a cavitation bubble so intensely powerful that it reaches a temperature that is nearly as high as what's found on the surface of the sun. However, it's too fast to see with human eyes. It literally only lasts a fraction of a second, resulting in an extremely bright glow that can only be seen with a special instrument. Every little girl dreams of having a pony. But did you know that ponies are actually a menace to society? In a video from just a few years ago, a very rare instance of wild ponies attacking beachgoers surfaced online. This happened on Assateague Island, which is a small island sandwiched between Virginia and Maryland. It's home to a wild horse population of roughly 300. There are wild ponies all over the island and have been for centuries. And when beachgoers decide to shack up on the island of the ponies, they obviously get angry. You can clearly see in the video evidence that there are small ponies knocking over umbrellas, terrorizing the people at the beach and causing general mayhem. It's inarguably the most epic pony attack ever orchestrated, and it likely took the ponies several months of planning to see it done so perfectly. Unfortunately, people are still visiting this beach even with such obvious dangers. Just kidding, you'll probably be fine. Just stay away from the kicking ponies. The honey badger is one of the toughest and most dangerous animals in the animal kingdom. It's also ridiculously adorable. It looks like an evil skunk. Even just looking at the honey badger's face, you can tell it's up to something bad. In terms of being attacked by a honey badger, don't worry too much, it's probably not going to happen. But for any other animal, the honey badger is a menace. These things are highly resistant to the venom from snakes and scorpions. They have a tail that measures 9 inches and can be used as a weapon. They also have a unique two-tone coat that covers their skin and helps them to survive. Plus, the honey badger can endure the bites from just about anything, and they also bite back. Honey badgers can dig, they can fight, and they have pretty much no fear at all. In the Guinness Book of World Records, the honey badger has the title of world's most fearless creature. What other animal will eat poisonous insects, venomous snakes, and even stand up to lions, leopards, and hyenas? They're sort of lazy animals that don't really find the energy to make a home for themselves, but have no problem making themselves comfortable in another creature's residence. It's no wonder that honey badgers have been the subject of memes and internet fame related to their notorious ill-tempered nature. They don't care. They will fight anyone and everyone. Crabs and lobsters are some of the most expensive meals you can get in a restaurant. But did you know that only a handful of crab species are commonly featured in seafood restaurants and fish markets? This is because not every crab is safe to eat. They are known as toxic crabs and they carry lethal doses of toxins. Most toxic crabs belong to the family known as Xanthidae, with the most toxic crab in all of Australia having a black-tipped claw. All of these crabs are notoriously poisonous, and yet they don't actually produce any toxins. Scientists agree that toxic crabs probably get all of their nasty bacteria through their diet. Because crabs do not have any kind of mechanism for delivering a toxin, they are only poisonous when people eat them. But just listen to what kind of toxins these crabs really have. The xanthid crabs mostly accumulate saxitoxin and tetrodotoxin, which are two of the most lethal and deadly substances known to man. The toxins typically build up inside of their muscles and their egg masses. Just 0.5 milligram of either toxin is enough to kill a human adult. Plus, the toxins are incredibly stable to heat, meaning they will still be found in the crab meat after being cooked. This is not widely known by the public, but now you can at least be aware that you can't just eat any old dirty crab you find. It could be the last meal you ever eat. We all know at least one person with an unusual pet. Either it's a guy with a snake, a girl with too many hedgehogs, or a guy with a room filled with lizards. And while it may seem cool to have some pet lizards in your house, it wasn't that cool for Ronald Huff, who in 2002 was found dead in his apartment after being eaten by his pet Nile monitors. This is a very gruesome story, and it's also a perfect example of how truly dangerous pet reptiles can be. While the online videos of people playing with their snakes and lizards look adorable, the truth is much more vicious. In the original story, Ronald Huff had been found dead in his apartment. However, nobody was sure if he died naturally or if the lizards had killed him on purpose. He was so badly eaten by the time the authorities found him that it was impossible to tell. In any case, you might want to think twice before getting a giant lizard and putting it in your house. Never mind a whole group of them. Hippos are incredibly cute animals that resemble floating potatoes. Oftentimes you just see their cute little faces sticking out of the water. But don't get it twisted. It doesn't matter how cute they appear to be, they are one of the deadliest animals on land and in water. According to reports, some say they are actually the most dangerous in Africa, more so than lions, snakes, and hyenas. They are so aggressive, even crocodiles are afraid of them. They average 3,500 to 4,500 pounds, they probably weigh more than your car, and they can be heavier than that. It's estimated they kill around 3,000 people every year. One of the worst cases recorded in the history of hippos ambushing humans was in 2014. 12 children and an adult perished when a hippopotamus overturned a boat near Niger's capital, Niamey. Hippos are the tank of the animal kingdom, and their strength should never be underestimated. In 2014, a single giant hippo took on a pride of lions when they made the mistake of trying to have the hippo for dinner. They tend to yawn a lot, which most people believe it means the hippo is relaxed and content. But according to a conservation ecologist, Johan Eckstein, who has studied hippos for 30 years in South Africa, this actually means they are agitated and probably about to strike, especially if you hear them laughing. So yes, hippos are undeniably adorable looking, but I highly suggest not getting too close. Owls are insanely loved creatures. You can't even walk into a store without finding some kind of piece of furniture or decoration with an owl on it, whether it's a clock, a throw pillow, or even just a little statue. And while some people are wildly obsessed with owls, everyone should know that these cute birds are actually violent predators that are dangerous to humans. Owls have actually been known to attack people, seemingly unprovoked. It's highly unlikely you would ever die from being attacked by an owl, but it definitely happens. In one story reported by the San Juan Journal, a man was minding his own business while he jogged up a hill in his residential neighborhood when out of the darkness an owl swooped. He felt razor-sharp knives against his head, his hat was ripped away, and then it was all over in the sound of feathers. This particular man did not die, and he wasn't gravely injured, but the fact that he was attacked randomly by a malevolent owl just goes to show that these unique and attractive birds can cause harm, and you should watch out. Also, in the docuseries The Staircase, a man accused of murdering his wife by pushing her down the stairs, Michael Peterson, pled that it wasn't him. He claims it was an owl that actually got through an open door in the house, which sat in a heavily wooded area, swooped down upon her and knocked her down the stairs. I don't know about that, but it's definitely suspect. Penguins are definitely the best birds ever. They can't fly, they wear tuxedos, and they are excellent parents. They are ridiculously adorable, and don't look like they could cause harm to anything except maybe a small fish. But it's all a ruse. According to case reports from between 1996 and 1999 at Palmer Station in Antarctica, seabird researchers were brutalized, tortured, and mercilessly beaten by the local penguins. In the case report, photo evidence is presented of researchers with bruises shaped like flippers all over their calves and thighs. Apparently, if you get too close to a penguin, they will bite you, slap you with their flippers, and do all that's in their meager power to destroy you. Of course, a penguin that weighs 7 pounds doesn't have the strength to kill you, but an emperor penguin that weighs 100 pounds can definitely do some damage to your thighs and buttocks, which could prove painful. Putting aside the fact that rats basically killed half of Europe in the Dark Ages when they spread the plague from England to Russia, it's hard to believe rats could actually hurt a person. After all, a single rat generally isn't any bigger than a person's foot. These things are small, they have weird hands, and some people even keep them as pets. But guess what? Rats are actually murderous fiends. A disabled French girl was recently attacked by a horde of rats that swarmed into her bedroom and tried to eat her. According to the BBC, this poor French girl had 45 facial lesions, 150 lesions on her hands, and 30 lesions on her foot. This is because rats will start with the soft tissue and the extremities, meaning that first they will try to eat your face and fingers. Luckily, the girl survived the incident after her father found her drenched in blood in her bed. He is now suing the landlord for negligence. As for what happened to the rats, they disappeared back to the garbage heap from whence they came. Depending on who you are, hornets may already feel like dangerous creatures. However, most people accept that hornets live in gardens, they sometimes sting you, but other than being a nuisance they don't cause much of a problem. But try telling that to the man in Spain who was murdered by hornets in May of 2020. Of course, these weren't any ordinary hornets. They were Asian giant hornets. Also, he died after being stung just once in the eyebrow. What makes this really ironic is that the murder victim was a beekeeper. He kept bees all his life and was then murdered by a single hornet. He must have had an allergic reaction or something, as another beekeeper found him lying on the ground near the hive and called the paramedics, but by the time they got there it was too late. The only reason to die from a single hornet sting is that you have a reaction, or that you get stung by enough of them. There have been allegations that at least 50 people a year are murdered by hornets in Japan alone. So, next time you see a hornet buzzing around your balcony, you should be a little more worried. Have you ever tangled with one of these deadly beasts? Let me know your experiences in the comments, and thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and come back soon for another awesome video.